Hello and welcome to the Business of Meeting podcast. I'm your host, Eric Rosenberg. Over the years, I've had the privilege of helping businesses in the meetings and event industry grow and succeed. And I'm excited to share that experience with you. If you feel alone and overwhelmed, and if you're looking to take your business to the next level, improve your strategy and sales, and connect with like-minded professionals, you are in the right place. I invite you to visit eventbusinessformula.com and join our community of event business owners dedicated to exponential growth. Now, let's dive into today's episode. Hello, and welcome to a new episode of the Business of Meetings podcast. Today, I have the great pleasure to speak with yet another entrepreneur in our industry, Nataly Horan. She's with Authentic Meetings and Incentives. She's a true entrepreneur already, if I'm not mistaken, looking at the LinkedIn, there's a second or third business she's involved in. We're going to talk about her journey. We're going to talk about the challenges in our industry and, of course, also about the future and the hope that we all have. Nataly, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today.
Thank you for having me, Eric. Hi.
Hi, my pleasure. I saw your post. It reminded me when I had my corporate events agency and all the beautiful location you're posting, but more importantly, also what you're trying to do and create unique experiences. But before we get there, my favorite question when I have a guest, what is your journey and how did you come to work in our industry?
I think a lot of people probably did not plan to end up here. And I'm definitely one of those people. I always wanted to be an interior designer, and that's what I did. I studied interior design at the University of Florida, and that's what I was doing. And I made the mistake of helping somebody in this industry with some graphic design just to be nice. And then one thing led to another, and I just fell in love with the industry. You know, I went to a couple of events and got to know the people and got involved a little more, and then eventually stepped away from interior design to full-time plan business conferences in the MICE industry specifically. So then I just got deeper and deeper into that on both sides, getting to know the suppliers and being able to support them like on the marketing side, but then the buyers kind of understanding what they needed to support them on the sourcing side of things. Yeah, I got a unique perspective that I'm really grateful for.
Is that the focus of the business today, the sourcing?
So yeah, today it's both. It's both the sourcing, but also because of the presence that I accidentally have on LinkedIn now, and I have a pretty decent email database. So now that I'm helping, especially cruise lines more than anything, but just suppliers in the MICE industry to get their message out to reach North American planners. Because, you know, everybody wants to reach the North American planners, but it's not easy. And they go to all these events and they meet with them at conferences, but that's a few days out of the year. So by making noise on social, it definitely helps. But not everybody has time for that.
No, that's true. And when you said you made a mistake with a big smile, obviously it was a great mistake. But when was the moment when you decided that you will go on your own, that you will have your own business rather than working from someone else?
Yeah, it was about a year ago when I just realized that you can only suggest so much with somebody else's company, and you know, you can do your very best, but at the end of the day, if it's not your company, then it is what it is. So I just got to the point where I felt like I did everything I could do and I could handle it, and it was time for me to go off and do the things that I wanted to do that I was kind of holding back, I guess, where I was.
So you had this desire to be your own boss.
And there was definitely a demand. Like there were buyers coming to me asking me to help them with sourcing. So I already was, but it was a kind of a conflict of interest to like charge or do anything with that. So it was kind of just helping. But yeah, if there wasn't a demand, I probably wouldn't have been so eager to go into it, but it was already kind of happening. So it was easy.
Got it. Well, it's easy because there's a reason why people come, always, for sure. But when you start the first weeks, the first months, what is going on in your mind? What are the challenges you're thinking about? Is there any stress in terms of longevity of the business, in terms of bringing clients, in terms of structuring yourself?
Uh,
What were the first months for you?
I think it was just setting short-term goals and not getting ahead of myself and just figuring this week I need to reach this goal or get this many new clients or finish this task. And I knew that if I would just keep meeting these goals, that it'll figure itself out. I don't need to figure out the whole year. Like anybody knows, you can try to plan the year, but looking back, like it was nothing like you expected. So I can't plan too far ahead. So yeah, I mean, otherwise it gets really overwhelming trying to plan the whole year out and think of big numbers. The smaller numbers are easier to manage.
I get it. No, my grandfather always said that men and women make plans and God laughs.
Yeah.
Now, what I love to do for myself and the people I'm coaching is to look at 10 years down the road. And I got your point, or having small numbers, it's more attainable, it's more realistic, and it's more easy to focus on it. And in the same time, I always need to have like, what is the dream? What is the end goal in the next 10 years? The big vision, which of course I will have to go back and have little elements in the short term. But what is your big vision? How do you see yourself in 10 years?
Living in Italy.
Okay.
Yeah. Definitely in about 10 years, the plan is to move to Italy. So that would be a really big change. But I mean, it's hard to say as far as the travel industry goes, especially with AI and everything. I mean, AI is just changing things faster than I could ever say in 10 years. So yeah, I mean, in 10 years, I hope to probably be a full-time artist. I don't know. As far as like the industry goes, 10 years is a long time with the way AI is changing everything. So really, it's just personal goals, I guess.
Absolutely. But when you say Italy, what attracts you in Italy? And is there a reason with Venice is on your LinkedIn profile?
I just love Italy. I just think like that's like the perfect lifestyle. I don't know what's not to
Okay.
love life there. You've got the architecture, the food and the wine and the everything, the history. It's near everything. It's just perfect.
I don't disagree with that. I love Italy. When you are looking at the social media, you say you accidentally had this following on LinkedIn. What happened exactly?
Yeah, so when I got into the industry about, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago, like I said, I came from interior design, so I didn't know anyone or anything. And a lot of the people that or no, everyone who I was meeting were higher ups, like owners of the companies, VPs, like CEOs. So they very much knew each other. They had known each other for 20 years. So
Hmm.
as I was being introduced to these people, which was really cool that I was being introduced to these people, I was just behind the scenes on LinkedIn looking them up and adding them and trying to remember their name and where they were before and that kind of thing. But little by little, next thing you know, I had a lot of LinkedIn connections and I was just posting what I was learning as I was going because I was new to the industry. And I think that resonated with a lot of people who maybe were burnt out. And here I was just kind of talking about what I was learning, I guess. And then now I have, I don't know, like over 15,000 followers and I just enjoy posting and it's crazy like the impressions that the posts get. I didn't plan for it, but it really is a tool with this crazy ROI.
Absolutely. I love the way you're mentioning it and posting about learning. When I started my first business in the industry, it was the same. Everybody knew each other. It was very new. But there's something that I quickly realized is that a lot of people, unfortunately, are exclusively focused on the logistics part.
Mhm.
And the client we talk to, they're most of the time, especially the decision maker, they're more interested in about the ROI, about the unique experiences, about how you're going to measure the impact. Is it also something that you saw yourself and that you're providing for the clients?
For on the event side or
Yes, on the event side.
yeah, I mean, I guess that's where I'm just doing the sourcing part of things. So it's really just making sure that they're getting, the best possible everything. Typically, it's often with cruise lines. So it's just making sure that they have a nice new ship with a great itinerary with all the best inclusion, so on and so forth, and good room block and all of that kind of thing. And then the event planner takes it from there.
One thing I observe as well is when you talk to people about their expectation, sometimes different than what you think they would do. Some people, in terms of sourcing, they were just between brackets only look at the price. other will look at a very smooth process with the contract and then handing over to the event person. What is your advice as a business owner for somebody who's starting in our industry or they want to grow their business? What is the first thing that you advise them to do?
Is this somebody on like the planner side or on the supplier side?
On the planner side.
I mean, knowing which events, like which live events to attend, like whether I'm involved in SITE, the Society of Incentive Travel Excellence
Executive. Yeah,
Executive.
okay.
I don't
They
know.
changed to excellence, I think. Yes,
I don't
yes.
know. And I think SITE is great. Other people are members of MPI, and I've heard MPI is really good.
It
But I
is, yeah.
definitely think being a member of something really helps. And then attending events like, I mean, everybody goes to IMEX, but then there's In Voyage and Site Classic and all the smaller events. And just kind of going and informing yourself and actually meeting like the humans, like the salespeople behind the brands, I think really helps a lot. I mean, I don't know how anybody would start without doing that, I think.
I love it. Absolutely. That's interestingly enough, a conversation I had last week because last month at IMEX, I pre-launched my own AI. So it's Eric AI, and you can have mentoring 24/7 in 70 different languages. And yes, they do my accent, so that's phenomenal. But but somebody was asking me, but don't you think that then people won't be coming in person? I say absolutely not. On the contrary, the more you're going to use AI, the more you would want to come in person to see people, to have the direct interaction. And quite frankly, I mean, we can be on Zoom now and start have a conversation. But if you and I are at the trade show, then you're going to meet somebody else, and then we're going to see another conversation. Those things don't happen online. What do you think about that?
Oh, yeah. And I mean, more and more what you actually see online, you can't even really believe and or read because a lot of what's written is just written by AIs. It only gets you so far. But then also, I think in the mice space, I mean, it's different if it's leisure, but when it's large groups, it's too risky not to meet people in person and know that the person that is going to be vouching for you with the hotel or cruise line or whatever. And what is their idea of luxury versus you can read about luxury all day long, but then you talk to the salesperson and you hear the details of how they describe what luxury is or not, and there's
Mhm.
just so many reasons why meeting the person who's going to be the face to what you're selling to the client with large group of people, it matters so much. It could be a disaster otherwise. It sounds so risky.
Absolutely. I have so many cases where something was happening, and because of the relationship with the individual, it was saved. Just one example. We were working with an hotel chain back then in Belgium, and the person who was the head of sales and marketing for that chain in Europe, it happened that once or twice I called them and said, listen, I made a mistake. In other words, my team made a mistake, but it's me. Can you help? And so there was always this honesty, this honesty, not dishonesty, this honesty to say it. But one day we had a major situation where one of the hotel we were working with for a major conference was actually not respecting its word. And because of the relationship, it took 30 minutes to solve.
Yeah.
That is not something that can be solved if you just know the person online, right?
Oh, yeah. Especially if it's like, say, like a big corporate company, like a cruise line or a corporate hotel chain, things can get very corporate and you have to jump through a lot of hoops and go through a lot of people. But if you know the right person who's up higher up in sales and who can just say yes to whatever she wants and we'll handle it later, but her group needs to get, dealt with. So when it comes to groups, I cannot have my group waiting around for people to figure. I have to be able to talk to somebody and they handle it and we move on, or else it looks really bad.
Absolutely. You're working a lot with cruise line. Are you sourcing with cruise line in the US, or are you sourcing all around the world?
All around the world. I didn't mean to become such a cruise person, but because in my last role we chartered river cruises and we would do groups on ocean ships, I just kind of got to know the cruise industry and I've gotten to experience a lot of different cruise lines. So now people come to me for cruising.
That's awesome. It's a good positioning as well.
Yeah, yeah, I like it. I think it's the easiest thing to do, like for any planner, so it's great.
Well, that we can debate because there's always, I think, in the over 20 years planning meetings all over the world, I never had one, including cruises, that was executed the way it was planned. There's always something,
Oh, well,
always
there's always
something.
something. I just think from the
Mhm.
point of the leading up to it, the what's it called? Like the contracts and the paperwork and everything is really
Mm.
simple with cruising because then once you're on, it's kind of done and there are a lot less surprises, I think, especially with charters. Especially with charters. I love a cruise charter. I think that's the easiest.
What are the crews that you, like, when you say charter, you charter the whole boat?
Yeah. Well,
Go ahead.
river cruises really. I mean, you could do, there are some great yachts in the Caribbean and
Hmm.
that sort of thing, but I haven't actually done that. But I've done cruises, yeah, several different river cruises in Europe.
I remember chartering the Club Med 2,
Oh, nice.
beautiful sailing boat with the largest consulting firm. It was one of our clients. But then again, what I love specifically in meetings on boats, people cannot get out.
Yeah,
Some sort
exactly.
of captive, they're there.
Yeah, they're there and they do what you tell them to do.
And do you have corporations that are doing only cruises, or are they doing it like once every 5, 6 years?
I mean, there are some people who are very loyal, especially like Royal Caribbean. Like you have these, I think it's called Crown and Anchor members, and they're very loyal to Royal. I mean, it's like a lot of these brands, even like with the hotel
Mhm.
brands.
So I cannot end this conversation today without asking you about how you're using AI, and how do you see your vendors, the cruise line and any venue you would be sourcing. How do they use AI? And if you can give us some concrete example of how you see it happening, and if it's going to be simpler, or what's going to happen with it.
I mean, I think AI has been mostly great so far for our industry. I know everybody's afraid of what's going to happen, but so far so good. I think it helps a lot with the RFP process as the proposals are coming in to be able to streamline, all the proposals look different and are organized differently. So being able to put them all through AI and then have it organize it all similarly for myself and the client to compare helps a lot. But also on the other side, not on the sourcing side, but with marketing, it's been really helpful to be able to do a webinar with a supplier and have them present, and then have AI actually get the transcript and take it apart into different ways that we can turn it into articles and things like that. And then from there, then you put the human part. But I don't know, just having it kind of come in and enhance things as we go, like really, I don't feel like it's replacing my job at all. I just think it's an assistant. It's another set of hands to kind of take something and make it that much better, quicker.
In terms of assistant, yeah, definitely helping a lot. The challenge with a lot of people starting their business in our industry is that they want to do everything themselves because it's my brand, it's my client, nobody's going to touch it. And that's the mistake I did. And after 2 years, I was almost like driving into a wall and being burned out.
Yeah.
Does that sound familiar? What is your recommendation for people that would want to grow their business, or that would want to start it and basically be able to focus on what they do best?
So I really believe in paying for help, so whether it's a cleaning lady so that you can work more and you're not cleaning, or, that counts too. But also, I have an assistant, a virtual assistant, and she helps me. But I set up a lot of templates in Canva, knowing that I wanted to bring her in and then more people. So in general, I think anticipating even the way I organize my files, knowing that when I bring on somebody, they're going to have to be able to understand it or whatever it may be. So from the beginning, keeping it in mind. But I mean, she charges either by the hour or a retainer for the whole month. So there are a lot of ways that people can work with virtual assistants. And I think they're a little nervous that it's like a huge commitment and then now you have an employee. But somebody like her, it can be month to month, and some months are busier than others. So I don't know. I mean, but I think I'm pretty good at letting go, and she kind of gets my aesthetic, and Canva helps. I mean, everything is so different these days, like from now to a year ago. Working together on Canva makes things infinitely easier than going back and forth with Adobe files with an assistant. I don't know. It's easy.
Especially with your background. So you want to be involved in the design as well.
Yeah, how could you not? When it's your own company, you have to be.
Somehow, yes, but trust me, that's not my wheelhouse, and I have two left hands, so that better have somebody who can do it for me for sure. Somebody was telling me one day, if you don't have an assistant, you are the assistant, and I think it's absolutely true. And
Yeah,
making a
yeah.
list of all the things you can delegate.
Yeah, there's so many hours in a day. And I also have two kids and everything else. So, like, yeah, I mean, people need to know when to ask for help.
Juggling with the kids and the business, and how old are they?
My son is 9 and my daughter's 12.
Ah, like my friend Jim Shields would say, 18 summers and then they're gone. So
Yeah,
you
they're
still have a lot
fun.
of time. It's cool. It's
Yeah,
cool.
exactly. Hmm.
Nataly, my two last questions for today. The first one, how do people get in touch with you?
They can find me on LinkedIn for sure. And I'm not too hard to find on LinkedIn. Or they can email me, Nataly@authenticmice.com. Or on my website,
Wonderful.
authenticmice.com. I'm pretty easy to
Perfect.
find.
Thank you. And my last question, when we meet next year with a bottle of champagne, what are we going to celebrate?
Hmm. There's a lot of things. I'm trying to pick one. What are we going to celebrate? This time next year?
Yes.
I guess having my art up in a gallery. I know it has nothing to do with the travel industry, but that's probably my biggest goal this year.
I love it. Spasha, tell us about that.
No, I've been painting and I'm just enjoying it. And I think it's really great to get into your career and everything and give a big push for that, which I did at the beginning of the year. But then sometimes it's good to kind of give some energy to something else too. And I think they
Mhm.
fuel each other. So it's been nice kind of giving myself the time to create art too. And I would love to get it put in a gallery. So if there's something I'd want to cheers to at champagne, that would definitely be it.
That's awesome. So I'll drink to that to see your exhibition next year at Art Basel. How about
There we
that?
go. Sounds good.
Wonderful. Nataly, thank you very much. Good
Thank
luck. And
you.
I look forward to meeting you in person in the future.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you for tuning in to the Business of Meeting podcast. I hope you found today's episode valuable. If you enjoyed the show, the most important thing you can do is leave a review and share it with your colleagues. It really helps spread the word. I truly appreciate your support. And if you're ready to take your business to the next level, don't forget to visit eventbusinessformula.com to learn more about how we are helping even business owners like you. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you next time.